What's going on, everyone? It's time for another Sunday stream. Yay, Sunday stream! We've got Final Fantasy 14 on in the background. We've got Sean, we've got Phil. We've got topics. I don't know what they are. That's Sean's job, and he literally just walked away. I was like, we're going live now, and the dude just got up and left, so that's cool. But it is what it is. You'll have to bear with us. We've kind of started this a little bit yesterday, and we're kind of all over the place, so in terms of background footage, yeah.
And I'm back.
Oh, there he is. Hello. I can hear myself.
Sorry, I was trying to find
background.
a bottle opener for. I can't have beer with no bottle opening, yeah?
Well, no. I've already done the intro. I've already said hello. So I did mention that we've got topics, although I don't know what they are because that was on you. I mentioned that you're AFK, so.
We do have topics. So the big one, I didn't even know this was a topic, is obviously the Ryzen 4000 series leaks or rumors or whatever you want to call it. Baldur's Gate 3, conversation regarding hertz and FPS versus image fidelity, okay, and something about a Samsung screen. You came up with the topics, dude. I'm just.
I know, it's just something about hertz versus image fidelity. Wicked. I'm going to be having that conversation on my own.
Entirely plausible.
No.
Well, no, I'm sure we'll have some sort of interesting information to provide.
I wasn't reading at all what I'm supposed to be doing, you know, because I wasn't paying attention. I'm doing the thing where you get yourself like a basic level 15 set of gear, and I wasn't reading at all what I'm supposed to be doing.
Which class is it you switched to again?
Archer. Oh wait, I can speak to you. Cool.
So you're a plinky boy.
Sort of, yeah. I figured I'd take the noob hunter aspect away from you for a change.
Hey, I'm not a noob hunter,
Let me just spec loads of spirit, mate. We'll be fine.
You don't see me pulling every single goddamn thing in the dungeon when I play hunter. I know how to aim my barrage.
That's right. At the floor while you stand in the ship. I'm just being silly.
Dig.
Right, you've already done this one, yeah.
Where is it you guys are? It's the green
What have I got
area.
to do? I wasn't paying attention.
Oh my god, why am I doing these quests as a bloody culinariist? No, bad Sean. Oh my god, I've been completing quests as a chef
I'll just run around
instead of as my rogue, which means I've not been gaining any XP.
Yeah, I love when that happens.
Oh god damn it. What am I supposed to do here? Refill with street lamp oil. Oh, you're joking. They're making me... Oh, what? I don't like this quest. Should we just get straight onto one of the topics then? Choose a number between 1 and 4, I think.
Just go through and make 1. Because 2 leads off of the back of 1, if memory serves.
Okay, so number 1, that new Samsung Odyssey C49 G95T. Okay, seriously? Monitor makers, fire your goddamn marketing teams. Or just
I think
come
that's a
up
really
with
catchy
better
name.
monitor names.
I think that's a catchy name.
C49 G95T. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it sounds like C3PO sex toy.
It could
They're
use
usually monikers for the tech that's in them, aren't they, though?
it could use a few more numbers, I reckon. But you know, other than that, it's all good.
Have you been smoking that naughty tobacco before the stream, Mr. Steve?
No, mate.
Because you're clearly on something if you think that's a good name.
No, I was being silly.
Anywho, it is a curved display, which is pretty much part of the course nowadays. 49 inches, which is seems to me a little bit, you know, overcompensating. But it's a 5120 by 1440, so it's a super ultra wide, which Samsung have been doing for a little bit of a while anyway. These sort of super ultra wides, but they've only really done 1080p or 1080 high. So it's essentially two standard 16 by 9 screens side by side. This is two 2K monitors side by side. So you got your normal 16 by 9, your 21 by 9, which is your ultra wide, and then now this is like, what is that? So that becomes 25 by 9 or 26 by 9, which is just a stupid amount of real estate. It's essentially it's gaming with 2 widescreens, just without a border in the middle, for all intents and purposes. Which, in my opinion, is the best way to do it if you don't want to go ultra wide.
Actually,
But you are going to pay for it.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it was. No, I finally got a set that halfway matches, and I'm like, oh, I actually don't look like a trash bag for one time. That's cool. I look like I got a trash bag glued to my chest, but other than that, it's all good. And yeah, I think the price on that screen is circa 1,300-1,400 something quid. I was gonna find a link on OCUK and paste it in the chat, but I forgot.
It is £1,279.99, VAT included.
That's a
Which
fat
is actually
deal.
not a bad price, considering that the one thing I forgot to mention, it's 240 hertz with FreeSync 2 and G-Sync. It's HDR. It's 1 millisecond response time, which you'd expect considering it's a VA panel. It's only 92% of the Adobe RGB though.
It's not IPS though, is it?
Well, that to me is a big problem because a lot of VA panels. I mean, you can get an ultra-wide VA from like AOC for 500 quid. You know, less than half the price of this, that will do 100% of the Adobe RGB. So if you're doing content creation, this ain't a good screen. If you're just watching films or playing games, it's great.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're gaming on it, that'd be great.
Yeah, the second you try and do anything else, anything that is dependent on color accuracy. Why are people messaging me on Facebook about work? No,
although I would just like to say 92% is still all right. We're talking like it's not like an IGN 92%. It's all right.
So yeah, 92%. If you're doing something like, I don't know, like a lot of what Phil does. So Phil does a lot of 3D modeling stuff. Color accuracy isn't as important at that point. It's more your lighting accuracy. I would at least imagine is going to be more important there. And with it being HDR certified, it's going to be able to do that. You know, it's going to be able to show that differentiation between quiet, light, and bright and whatnot. Give me a second. I'm just going to turn things off on Chrome. For that sort of workflow, it's fine. But the second you get into like an Adobe Suite style of workflow, it's not suitable, and it's a shame because, you know, two 2K screens side by side is fantastic for working. It really is. So that to me, especially with it being a VA panel, and I know that VA panels are capable of doing 100%, feels like a bit of a downside to that monitor, but for the price you pay, that's not bad.
It's getting quite the hype on Twitter from what I've seen, so it should...
Yeah, that's understandable. VA is fairly new in terms of panel tech. It sort of takes the best of both worlds, of both IPS and TM panels, which is great. You know, it's a great middle ground, which is why when I upgrade my monitor in the coming months, it's most likely going to be to a VA panel, because you know they're not as expensive as IPS, they're slightly more expensive than TN, but you do get a good middle ground. So
there you go, monitor news. What was next?
Next topic is FPS or refresh rate versus image fidelity. So with text like G-Sync and FreeSync, it's harder to see the difference without counter excessive debate. That's all you've put. Your notes are terrible, by the way.
Eat me. I put it in there in a rush because I was like, we got nothing to talk about.
I
and
would
since I was
eat
the
you,
only
but I intend
one.
to order a pizza after this. And
Domino's.
But I can only eat one pizza.
Dude, I ordered Domino's earlier. It's so much Domino's I had to go for a nap. Like, real talk.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I intend to buy a rather large pizza. I've had a very stressful day playing doctor for a 4-year-old who decided to throw herself down the stairs. So, needless to say, a rather large pizza is much wanted right now.
Yes, mate. So yeah, leave my notes alone, prick. Other than that, yeah, okay. So typically speaking, your FPS is, you know, your higher, 144. And then 2 something, was it 220, 240?
240 is what this Samsung's going to.
Hey, I'm studying a big thing. Yeah, like...
You'll need a 3080 Ti to run it, like, at 200 hertz.
Well, there's a trade-off, isn't there? You know, like, in order to get a much higher frame rate and achieve, like, 240 or whatever, then, you know, sometimes you'll do that at the expense of graphics settings. In most cases, to be honest, you'll probably do that at the expense of graphics settings.
Yes.
And so I suppose what I wanted to just have a quick debate about is, if you had a choice, would you rather game at, say, 30 FPS beautifully, 60 FPS quite nicely, 120 FPS looking okay, or 240 FPS looking like shit? What's your preference?
For me, I mean, it kind of depends. So, obviously I play a lot of Star Citizen, for example, and I got no choice but to run a 30 FPS on that game. Mostly due to the fact it is for all intents and purposes a tech demo, and I just can't get more than about 35 frames per second with everything maxed out. And in that case, because I've got no choice but to be at 30, I just max everything out anyway because I'm never going to get to 60. So if I something like Monster Hunter, where I can get 60 but I need to drop a couple of settings, I'd rather do that. I sort of try and go for that middle ground of 60 FPS is more important. Now, beyond that, personally, for most games, I don't see the point in going above 60 FPS. Excuse me. Competitively.
Wow.
Competitive games. So if it was, say, something like CSGO, right, where it's very, very competitive, it's all about that competitive side of things, then yes, 100%, I would drop every single setting down to the minimum so that I can get the absolute most frame rate possible. There was a video that Linus Tech Tips did with the slow-mo camera guys. Basically, they were just testing, okay, does it actually make a difference to your ability to play the games? And what they found is that it does make a difference, but there are diminishing returns the higher you get. So, yeah. I think 120 hertz, if I could do 120 hertz and have everything maxed out, I would. But otherwise, I'd probably personally settle for 60, unless it was competitive. That's mine. I don't know about you guys. Obviously, I'll leave that for you guys to say.
For me personally, I like 100, mainly just because that's what the screen goes to, is 100. So I enjoy 100, but it's also G-Sync, right? And so this is the problem. I could turn some settings up, but because it's G-Sync, I don't necessarily notice really. Well, I notice, but I don't notice between, say, like 65 and 75, for example. It could be dipping and all over the place. If I don't have a graph on screen or some numbers on screen, then I have no idea that it's doing it. Well, that's the whole point, obviously. So for me,
so because you don't get ghosting, you don't get screen tearing, it gets rid of the most obvious calling card that you've got low FPS, is what you say.
Yeah, at which point it becomes more prioritiful. It's more of a priority for me to turn up the settings a little bit, because if it runs smooth, I don't care really if it's running smooth at 60, if it's running smooth at 100, as long as it looks nice and it's smooth. Do you know? Like, if take Ark as a beautiful example, and I'm not going to get into the fact that obviously that game is broken, but if that's jumping all over the place, it diminishes my experience. Now, again, I would rather have that looking like a potato as long as it was smooth. Yeah, I don't know. I think for me, like, there isn't really I need to have 100, for my EP to feel sated. It's just, it has to be smooth and then look as good as it can while being smooth, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so I'd say you probably fall similar to me then, where as long as the FPS is good enough, I'd rather it look pretty.
Where is everyone, by the way?
I'm just on my way over to where you guys are. What about you then, Phil? Let's get your opinion on the matter.
Well, just before you give your opinion, Phil, where you stood, I just want to gather up. Sorry, where are you?
I'm just on the ship on the way back to Limsa in a minute.
Why are you going back to Limsa?
To hand in a quest.
Son of a bitch. Okay, carry on, opinion.
I guess I'm in like a unique position because I've never had FreeSync, I've never had G-Sync, I've never had a monitor that's had higher than 60 hertz, like, ever. So, for me, I guess I don't really have much of a comment on it because I've never experienced it. I've always, experienced 60 and that's it.
You are in a unique position out of all of us, though, because you're the only one that games at 4K. So I'm still at 1080p. Steve's at 3440 by 1440, so ultra wide. You're at full 4K, so you are in a position where you're forced to either be at 30 FPS locked or 60 FPS, and either have 30 FPS high graphics or 60 low graphics. So yours is, if anything, a much more stringent scenario.
So on newer titles, I'll have to scale it down to like 2K because my hardware does get pushed. But for the most part, it's usually 4K 60 if I can. Which most of the time,
if you were given the choice, 30 FPS or lower the settings, what would you do?
I'll probably lower the settings because I know the age-old meme is like, once you've gone to 60 FPS, you can't go back. And it's like, I think that's pretty true because it feels really weird playing at like a lower frame rate. Because most games tend to dip anyway. They're not always hard locked at 30 or 60. They tend to like go up or down, even if it's like only by a few FPS. But like when you're in like the 30 FPS territory, you start to notice it. Because if you dip down to 27, like that's almost like film level frame rate at that point. And
So
like
20, it's either 24 or 27.
24 to 27 is like film FPS.
Yeah, so 24 FPS is, so the reason films are 24 FPS is that's the lowest frame rate you can get, whilst your eyes can still perceive it as fluid movement. So it's just a cost saving more than anything. It's cost saving and reduces the amount of data necessary, which I suppose makes sense. But
it's weird the difference in perception between say 30 and 60, and then 60 and 120. Obviously, 30 to 60 is a much more noticeable jump, and there's the age-old argument of your eyes can't perceive that many frames per second, but your brain interprets it. I think in almost more like
your brain does,
like a liquidity, you know, like
yeah.
liquid,
I was in,
like a liquid
in a weird
aspect.
position when I got my new Samsung smart TV. Like, you know, all the bells and whistles. On some of the HD shows, it almost felt too smooth for me. Like some of them, like, you know, it's ridiculous. Like UHD, it's like this feels really weird to watch, but you adjust to it over time. But because I'd never been exposed to it before, I was like, this is really trippy.
Yeah, I think when it becomes most obvious. So I had an argument a long time ago. I was arguing with the guy. I was you know, sat in the pub as I normally am at the week.
Probably me.
No, it wasn't with you. This was a different friend of mine.
I was just when you say argument, I automatically think me, but okay.
I said debate. I didn't say argument. There's a difference.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, we weren't at each other's throats. So me and this friend of mine were having this debate about 30 versus 60. And he pulled out all the usual crap. Your eyes can't perceive it, this, that, and the other. I said, look, you're a console. You play on console. You play at 30. That's fine. I'm not going to knock you for playing on console, but you've never actually played at 60 FPS. Well, no. So how can you say? How do you know for a fact that it makes no difference? They said, well, if it did, then they wouldn't have consoles at only 30. Well, they do movies at 24. It's cost saving, right? It allows you to... You're making sacrifices in other areas. So what I did is I got him round mine, and I got him sat down at my PC, playing a game that he had on the Xbox. And it was at 60 FPS on mine. Settings made it all look about the same. And then when he went back to the Xbox, obviously a few hours later, he messaged me and went, "You're a bastard." I went, "Why?" He went, "Because now the game feels really choppy." And it wasn't until he actually witnessed being in 60 FPS and got used to it and then went back that he saw just how choppy it was. In fact, me and Steve, we had a really good example when we went down to get your car worked on and we were playing GTA San Andreas. Do you remember how choppy that felt?
Yeah, although, credit where credit's due, you remembered the spawn code for the Hydra, so I was like blown away by that. I forgot all about the FPS.
I remembered the spawn code for the Hydra. I also remember the spawn code for the Rhino tank. 00L1, 000, L1, L2, R1, triangle, circle, triangle. Boom.
Font of useless information, mate. I have an impress.
I also remember all the spawn. I remember all the spawn codes for all the weapons as well.
But yeah, you are probably right. You can't miss what you don't know, and then when you come to know something, you obviously start missing it.
Yeah, exactly. If you've never experienced the pure bliss that is a cup of Yorkshire tea,
oh, come on.
Then you never know how good a good cup of tea is. And no, I'm not ripping off the Spiffing Brit with that. It just so happens we genuinely agree on what the best tea is in the country. And I'm sorry, but Yorkshire tea is hands down the best.
You can't have best tea, can you? That's like saying the nicest smelling shit. It all smells like shit. I don't like tea.
You, sir, are a heathen. I sincerely hope they drag you into the Tower of London and hang, draw, and quarter you like you deserve, you treasonous bastard.
I don't like tea.
Oh, actually, no, to be fair, you are half American.
Wait.
So if anything, you liking tea would technically be half treason for you.
I don't think Americans give a shit if we like tea or not, to be honest.
I forgot you're a weird coffee boy.
I like coffee. Coffee's good. Coffee equals many function.
Phil, what's your opinion on tea? Phil, you're muted.
I'm talking to myself this entire goddamn time. Oh.
You keep doing that, bro.
Yeah, because I've got a quick key selected on my keyboard, but it doesn't give me an indication that I'm muted, so I'm just sat here chatting to myself like an idiot. Anyway, in regards to the whole tea and coffee scenario, I like tea. I'll drink tea anytime. But I never used to like coffee until I got a full-time job.
Yeah,
and I got a full-time job and
I
love coffee.
Too, yeah.
Do you remember that one I brought you that time, Phil?
That is a story to go down in the ages. That was the best, worst cup of coffee I've ever had.
Oh, are we talking about moving day, or are we talking about that time I brought you that layered masterpiece?
We're talking about moving day coffee.
Right, so but during our time with the NHS, we were tasked with moving one base's IT equipment into another base, basically. We later found out that that didn't just mean IT equipment, it meant the tables they were on, the chairs, obviously the VDUs, the towers, the whole shebang. Okay, so a slightly challenging task has become a little bit more challenging, that's fine. We were then told it had to happen within 3 days. So, okay, the pressure was on. So we decided to rent a van. We did use an ambulance at first, but someone drove it into a gate, and I don't know who it was, but then it was taken away from us.
Every time you get in a new vehicle, you always reverse into something.
I didn't reverse in. I fucking absolutely just drove into it head first, mate. Like, I mean, it wasn't me. Anyway, so yeah, they took that away. So we rented a van, which, by the way, I broke the window off, but that's really besides the point as well. We had to do it
just to make clear, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, the first time I went near Steve in his current car on my motorcycle, he nearly reversed into me on my motorbike as well.
You just thought it was Scooby look at first, though, wasn't it? Because the first car that I had a mishap in was when we went out to get my Scooby, my first Scooby, and I may have reversed or not reversed into something, which may or may not have caused my back bumper to basically fall off. And then I sold the Scooby and got Audi and some other shit and a BMW, I think. But I came back to Scoobies because Scoobies. And yeah, literally day one again. The thing is, in my defense, that clutch was shot, man. I had a choice between stall it or launch it. So it wasn't really my fault.
Well, I'm blaming his tools, but anywho.
Hey, dude, come on now.
My clutch is starting to do the same thing.
Come up there and slap you in the head a bit. It's not, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
I just need some white lithium on it, it'd be alright.
Oh, is yours just the pedal or not the actual plate?
Yeah, it's just it's making squeaky squeaks.
Oh, okay. Well, I've got some white lithium, you'll be right.
But anyway, about that coffee story.
Yeah, so we started doing it and everything was fine, and we were on hour 17-ish, 18 maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
Moving, middle of summer, and I think at this point it's 3 a.m.-ish. But sweat just absolutely just dripping off us. Every time we get in the van, the aircon's on. The aircon was on, and outside was so hot that we were getting condensation on the outside of the window. It was just crazy times. Anyway, we're flagging out hard, so I decided to make Phil a coffee. Now it was like, just imagine the worst dive of a cafeteria thing you could possibly imagine, and that's what we had to work with. So the coffee wasn't even like instant Nescafe. It was like instant dried dog shit beans. It was like
and
absolutely.
Also was out of a, like, I don't know if any of you guys watching have ever been in like an office environment, like they've got like those kettles that basically have boiling hot water in them all day, so it was musty water. It's been
Like
sat
there. Like a big water butt.
Yeah,
the containers.
One of those things. That's where the water came from.
So yeah, we had to make a coffee out of that, and like it was probably the most rancid and yet the most blessed beverage. Because at that point we'd worked like non-stop for about 17 hours with nothing to drink. And I'm curious, have you ever been in that situation, Sean, or anyone else who watches this video afterwards? Have you ever been so desperate for a coffee that you've drank what could essentially be diarrhea and still enjoyed it?
There have been a few times where I've had like 2 hours sleep, like mostly when I was still doing my uni stuff. So I'd be getting like 2 or 3 hours sleep. I get into the office. I've got to get through it. Yeah. Excuse me. There were definitely a few moments, hiccups. There were definitely a few times where I had some real rough coffee. But then I discovered that there's a Starbucks about 5-minute walk from the office, and extra large mocha frappuccinos are so goddamn good in the middle of summer. I spent about 150 quid in a single month at Starbucks just drinking those.
Well, this coffee that we drank, I drank, I don't think Steve really had much because he spat it out. It was like 3:30 in the morning. We've been working like 17 hours straight. I got a whiff of caffeine and just absolutely chugged the whole thing. Right, and it was like the best thing that's ever touched my lips. It was amazing. I loved it. It kept me awake. The next morning comes around and we're like, that coffee last night was proper decent. I'll have another one. Oh my god. I didn't know that's what I had consumed the night before. I was that tired.
Oh, Steve! Hi, Steve!
Hello. Excited little peasant. Look at you.
Why have you got ears?
I'm a cat man. I've got a tail too. And I wash my ass in streams. And what?
Well then, on that note, bye. Sorry, that's the first time I've actually seen one of you guys since we started playing this. I had to interject there. I do apologise, Phil.
But yeah, it's just like I couldn't believe my brain had allowed that substance into my body and thought it'd be alright.
Oh.
It was so foul, so foul.
I mean, let's be honest. We've all made, you know, bizarre mistakes when delirious or drunk or both. I'd imagine it's not really that different. You know, we've all woken up the following morning and regretted the things we did like the previous night.
Yep.
Just saying.
Yeah.
I was aiming that at all three of us, all right? None of us are innocent in that regard.
No, I'm pure as the driven snow, mate. I don't know what you're talking about.
Uh-huh.
You guys in the other place? Our TP to, yeah.
Yeah.
We're in the green, flowery, thingy, majiggy bobby place.
462 kills to task trap. Oh.
Yeah,
That's
I would highly recommend that you catch a blimp.
Nah, I could have catch a blimp, but I just can't be arsed with it.
So yeah, anyway, as we've gone
now,
completely on a just weird tangent, Baldur's Gate 3 runs on the D&D 5th edition rules as interpreted by Larian. Well, they did a fantastic job with their last few games, so I've got high confidence on that. Reveals for the game start June 6th. That's a week from today.
Yeah, they posted it on their official Twitter account.
Oh, okay. So what do we hope to see? I mean, it's been a long time since I played. Baldur's Gate 2 was, what, 10 years ago?
More,
How
keep
long ago was
going.
Baldur's Gate 2? It's got to be 2013, so no, 7 years ago.
You look substantially better than Sean.
Oh, wait, hang on. No, that was the
Could have
enhanced
actual
edition.
armor on.
Man needs to stop leveling up though, because like I'm
Year
never gonna catch him.
2000? What? That came out in the year 2000. I was still in school. In fact, I hadn't even started secondary school when that came out. That was 20 years ago.
Yes. That's why many people are excited about the new one.
Yeah, so I didn't play the original one. I only played 2, but it was probably the enhanced edition that I played. I might have played 2. The year 2000 was around about the year that I started gaming on PC. Yeah, that's an interesting one, that. I mean, I am excited for it. I'm a big fan of I really enjoyed Baldur's Gate 2. I really enjoyed Divinity Original Sin 2, although I did end up like just stopping playing 3/4 of the way through because oh damn, that game is hard.
Pussy.
Hang on, Phil, what was the game that you stopped playing the other day because you couldn't beat it?
I beat it, but I didn't enjoy it. Spell Force 3, yeah. Although to be fair, if you search like the forums and all the stuff like that, they do say that like why does this mission even exist because it's so unfair. So it's not just me that had an issue with it.
So it is one of those. This quest is kind of bullshit.
Yeah,
Like,
since release and they never patched it basically.
okay, fair enough. That's understandable then. But I mean, Steve, you're probably the biggest Baldur's Gate fan here.
Maybe.
In terms of like I say action RPGs, top-down RPGs. So like Spellforce and whatever else. I'd say Phil's probably a bigger fan than I am. But Baldur's Gate, the actual IP, I'd say you're definitely the biggest fan out of the three of us. So
Yeah,
so your opinion and your excite here is probably the most prominent.
I blame my uncle really. Like he got me onto it as a kid, and because it was a childhood experience, there's rose-tinted glasses. So I don't know if the game was actually as good as I remember it, but I remember it being pretty amazing. I don't know. I guess what I'm most looking forward to is a devastatingly brutal, unforgiving, like ass kicking from the minute that I turn it onto the hardest difficulty and proceed to just get my face beaten in for however many hours. Like
Yeah, that's Larian for you. You'll get us plenty of that.
I like the fact that Baldur's Gate as a franchise is like, it's just, I don't know. It spawned off so many other things. Like there's so many influences of it everywhere else. Like the whole, it's just Dungeons and Dragons as a whole, isn't it?
Well, but Baldur's Gate is based on it. I mean, obviously they're using the 6th gen rules specifically. Sorry, 5th gen rules. Which I actually don't know. I don't know enough about Dungeons and Dragons to know how that all lays out because I never played D&D.
I've never
I
played
played Warhammer
tabletop.
for a short period of time, but that was it.
I've never played tabletop D&D. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm a massive nerd, but like I've not quite got my nerdiness to that level yet. I don't know. It was just Baldur's Gate, the original. You started off in Candlekeep with your mage tutor Gorion, and then there was this. I'm not going to go over the whole story. I was just literally about to just go over the story, but that'll take 20 minutes. It was one of those things where, oh my god, I'm dead.
I don't know where you're walking, mate. We're going to get
I'm trying to go north, but like,
bits.
I went a dodgy way. Can you get me up, or can you not?
I don't think I've got a revive spell, and these Spriggans are absolutely trying to kill me.
I'll just release.
Yeah, if you want, dude, we could do a video. Well, you could do
Oh,
a video
Jesus
on
Christ.
like the history of Baldur's Gate, if you wanted to.
Not sure that there's time for me to do that, honestly. I would like to, but
just get your notes together and script it out. You'll be all good.
where's...
It could be a good video. It could be a good video. There's going to be a lot of, especially younger people. I mean, bear in mind, I'm very rapidly approaching my 30s.
40s.
No, he's 40s. I'm 30s. just to
Fuck you,
clarify.
40s. What are you talking?
I'm nowhere near my 40s, you cheeky git. So yeah, like, you know, I'm definitely on sort of the younger side of people that are going to have played those. Of people that are going to have played those games. So I think some sort of giving people background to what those games are and giving people context could be a good idea. That's just my 2 pence, but.
I'm going to wait near this gate for you for just a minute, Phil, and I want a drink as well. So, well, I'm not going to go into it too heavily, like in the here and now, but it was one of those things where it captured my young brain, and I was like, oh my god, and yeah, it just set me off. I'd never played like Dungeons and Dragons. I'd never really done anything. I was just immersed with it. For anyone who hasn't played it, basically, if you've played Dragon Age Origins, imagine that, but like back in the day when that would have been unheard of to have, and that's kind of how it felt to play Baldur's Gate. It's just amazing. Like, also there's this really, really tall woman in game, seeming like she's checking out my ass. I don't know what's going on. I'm kind of confused and scared. No, it just felt amazing to play, and it's just sort of captured my imagination. So I don't know. When Dragon Age Origins came out, it felt a bit like it, which I really, really loved. You know, I set it onto the hardest difficulty. I paused. I made my decisions, and off I went. It felt really good. I didn't enjoy the others quite as much. I did enjoy them, but I didn't enjoy them as much. So I don't know, I'm just hoping it's like a return to form. I don't want it to just be another remake of the previous IPs that Larian have pumped out. I do want it to be very Baldur's Gate. But I don't know. That's what I'm hoping to see the most. Is I wanna know, is this actually going to be good? So to answer your question about how excited I am at the minute, I'm not. I've tempered that purely because I don't want to be massively disappointed with the childhood IP coming back to life. Like, I want it to be fantastic, but I can't invest. Yeah, that's it. Just in case. Phil keeps telling me that Larian are amazing. I should just have faith. But at the same time, what if they do something with it that I wouldn't like? I wish they wouldn't. You know, it's the same with all games nowadays. That I have pre-purchased and been disappointed too many times. So now I don't even pre-emotionally invest. You know what I mean?
I think Fallout 76 is probably one of the best examples of that. We saw that and we were all like really excited for it, but at the same time somewhat apprehensive. You guys obviously pre-ordered it and then immediately regretted doing so because I don't need to say anything further than that, do I? I
didn't have a problem with 76 to begin with, honestly.
The premise was sound, just
the gameplay with Adam. Me and Adam were just running around and Phil kind of came and went. Phil's Phil when he games, you know what I mean? He just kind of does his own thing, and then occasionally if his interests align with yours, you'll get some shit done. But yeah, where am I going? This way, right? Okay. So yeah, it was all right though until I had my power armor and I was romping around the irradiated zones, like smashing stuff up, and realized this is all there is. I got past the void of NPCs. I got past this slight disappointment. I was making full use of the cheesing of the inventory thing. So there was a thing where if you had an item that had like inventory weight reduction or something like that, you could basically just spam equip and unequip. And if you did it quick enough, your maximum weight started to go down, the amount you could carry. So let's say you could carry 200, that would come down to like 190, 180, 170. When you get it into negative figures, that basically means you have an unlimited carry capacity. So that was good for a while, but then they patched that, and I believe I logged in one time to find myself absolutely stranded on the side of a mountain, and I haven't really played it since.
I mean, Phil, you played 76 with the new, is it the Wastelanders DLC, whatever they called it?
Yeah. What a piss poor attempt to try and save their IP.
That bad, huh?
Yeah, it was like 2 or 3 years too late at that point. It's just no, it's terrible.
What about it was a sort of failure, as it were, in terms of saving the IP, in your opinion? What
You
was the
know how
biggest
it's like
issue?
when they add a feature that's an afterthought, right?
Yeah, it sort of just seems it's obvious it's bolted on because it.
Yeah,
seems
well,
just
the NPCs here were very clearly an afterthought. They didn't migrate into the world as well as you thought they would be. Their quests are kind of piss poor. They've tried to introduce kind of like a New Vegas kind of like karma system in it. It's just terrible. It doesn't work.
So basically, what they did is they tried to recreate the beautiful glory that brain's completely gone. Not id Software.
Obsidian
Games created. And
Yeah.
New Vegas was absolutely phenomenal. And then they just completely failed because, I mean, let's be real, Obsidian Games know what they're doing with that. I mean, their last game, the Outer Worlds, was absolutely phenomenal. Way too short for my liking, but it was phenomenally good. And they just so happened to make it in such a way that it could theoretically be a sequel to New Vegas. It could totally make sense as a sequel to New Vegas, which I kind of like. But yeah, so basically what they've done is they've tried to take what somebody else did really well and just done a shite job.
Yeah, they butchered it. Oh, and the fact that they added a single player mode to 76.
How the fuck does that work? The whole thing with 76 is that you're in a multiplayer environment, and I mean they were dependent on player generated content for the longest.
But guess what? So it's single player, but you got to pay for it on a subscription service.
What's the fucking point in that?
Yeah, you can play Fallout with single player or just your friends and no one else, buddy. You got to pay. Absolute fucking piss take.
How much?
Like $9.99 or $7.99, something like that.
A month?
It's basically a WoW sub, yeah.
Oh dear.
And yet you could go and play a game like World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy XIV as we are, which costs exactly the same amount, but you can play single player if you want. You know, you don't have to group up and do group content. It's entirely your call. So why would you then pay Bethesda £10 a month for a game that's got nowhere near the level of content as something like Final Fantasy XIV or Elder Scrolls, their own IP, Elder Scrolls Online, for Christ's sake?
Yeah.
You know, or like World of Warcraft, or hell, even RuneScape, which has got so much more content. Each of them, like, even in their free play, has probably got more content. Why would you pay Bethesda just to play single player? It makes no sense. That is the stupidest thing I can fathom.
76 is
You got a bit passionate there, Rachel.
A true milking of the series.
Well, I suppose every family's got the black sheep, right?
Yeah.
And we're all here on the channel, isn't that nice?
Hey!
You still online, Steve?
Yes, mate.
Oh, you're just in an instance.
Yeah, I was just doing the level 15 archer experience. I don't know what to call
Right.
it.
Now that we've done with that rambling, one that I didn't know anything about, but this gives me an excite. The Horizon 4000 series. There seems to have been some leaks, which I'm always a little bit skeptical about with leaks anyway, especially if they came from WCCF Tech. Although, actually, Steve, where did you get these numbers out of interest?
Most of it was on OC3D. They tweet stuff, and then I'll have a look, and then there's a bit of fact-checking going on against other leaks and everything else. Now, bear in mind, it's pure speculation, so it should always be taken with a grain of salt. But,
Yes.
where am I going? Go down here. Bear with me 1 second. Sorry. Obviously, massive grain of salt, but OC3D, I think Tom Logan, who does that, he's pretty good at fact-checking stuff in the first place. So if he's posted it, then there's a good chance he's had a chance to verify it. So
he's not stupid enough to stick his foot in.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So I did a minor bit of fact-checking. In all honesty, I didn't dig too deep, but I dug around. And it all sort of adds up. And then when you compare it against the 4000 series, I don't know if it's APUs that go into laptop, isn't it? So they'll be in there, and they are. Wow. Okay. So there's like 14 mopeds going past my house. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, even I heard that.
Yeah, my bad. My bad. I'll go out and kill them all in a bit. Just dirty, filthy moped riders. Joking. I'm off topic now. That literally just turned my brain into eggs. What was I talking about?
The Ryzen 4000.
Oh, yeah. So, based on what's already come out in terms of core counts and stuff, and I know in the notes I've left you a big long list of core counts, boost speeds, stuff like that.
Yeah, I can give you some of those numbers now if you want. So
just bear with me. Hold up.
Yeah.
So yeah, it looked real enough, you know. However, there's news that came out today which is speculating that AMD might have had a bit of a deception going on, that in actual fact these are all going to be taped out on 5nm rather than 7 because they didn't want Intel to know about it. I find that one hard to believe. I think it's going to be 7, but
yeah,
there.
I'm fairly confident that So obviously it's going to be TSMC if they're going 5nm.
That's who
I know
got the
for a
contract
fact with their next version of Ryzen is slated to be 5nm. But as far as I'm aware, TSMC's 5nm isn't scalable yet. So they can't realistically move to it. If they do, oh my god, I accidentally AoE'd something. Why are you attacking me? Oh my god, I'm nearly dead. Oh, what's happening? What is happening right now? Oh god. Oh
On
god.
topic much.
Look, I'm being attacked by Treebeard, okay?
I aggroed it. You're all right. I've got aggro.
Oh wait, you're over there?
Yeah, I'm a tank. It's all right.
Oh nice.
It's dead.
Spanx. I didn't even see you over here. Yeah, I'm still lowly level because obviously this is an alt class. So
I'll come and join you.
Yeah, sorry. So TSMC are the only ones, as far as I'm aware, with 5nm. Intel are way off. And as far as I'm aware, Glofo doesn't have it either. Global Foundries, which are obviously the other major fabricator that AMD uses. So knowing full well that it's not ready, I doubt we're going to see AMD using 5nm. The other reason I say that is because every time there's a node shrink, there's also a megahertz drop.
Jesus, why?
And we don't have a megahertz drop this time, based on these numbers. So, based on these numbers, it looks like, core-wise, it's going to be exactly the same. We've just seen a 200 to 300 megahertz boost. Now, obviously, there's going to be IPC tweaks and whatever else. So, all those, them 10 series CPUs that Intel just dropped, that is literally just 9000 series, which is actually 8000 series, which is actually 7000 series, which is also 6000 series, all with just like a 200 megahertz boost each time, are going to be completely and utterly useless. With the IPC gains into AMD is going to have, and looking at another 200 to 300 megahertz boost, if these numbers are to be taken seriously, Intel's not going to have a damn thing. If AMD do genuinely shrink to 5nm this time round as well, then I'm sorry, but I'd be hard pressed to recommend an Intel system to literally anybody, unless I was, they'd done something to piss me off and I was trying to get them to waste their money. Interesting times. Genuinely is interesting times. Like, I would still say to someone, hey, if you're looking at building a gaming rig, Intel is still better for gaming. If those leaks are correct, so we're looking... So Ryzen 7 3800 currently has 18 cores, 16 thread, 3.9 base to 4.5 boost. Whereas it's looking, the new ones are going... So that's 4.0 to 4.6. So that's only 100 megahertz boost. But we can assume there is going to be an IPC boost there as well. So that 100 megahertz boost and a slight IPC increase may be all it takes to make up that difference. At which point, I can no longer say if you're a gamer, go buy Intel. And considering Intel just dropped their 10 series, yeah. Interesting times. What will be your guys' view on the matter?
I want to build a new system. I am waiting to build a new system until AMD 4000 series come out. Also, I can't seem to invite you to the party. I was gonna like follow you about and like help out, but I can't.
I promoted you to lead.
No, it's because he's still in the party with Rach.
Oh. Kick from party. I can just kick Rach. I'll just kick her from the party. It's all good.
Friendly.
What? Didn't it?
I don't know because it's still showing you as a. Oh, there you go. I'll find you. Whereabouts are you? And then I'll like follow you around and kill some stuff.
I'm about to teleport to the Conjurers Guild.
Right. I'll meet you there.
So yeah, you'll obviously I mean, I was saying already that I'm waiting until 4000 series before I rebuild my rig anyway. So yeah, this is looking good to me. Intel, because I do a lot of multi-core stuff. Intel, there's no purpose in me buying Intel at this point in time. Steve, I assume your reasoning is exactly the same.
Yeah, there's nothing out there that I want other than the whatever it is, 3900X or 3950X, which is probably a bit more expensive than I want to go. So 3900X, that's the 12
core. So you got the 3950, which is the 16 core. 3900 is the 12. 3800 is the 38 and the 3700 are both 8 core.
Given what I do, like professionally, I would want the 1224.
See, to be honest, with the time difference in terms of rendering videos and 3D modeling and stuff like that, 3D modeling, I'd say it's going to make more of an impact. But I personally am going to be happy with the 8. I don't think I'm going to need more than the 8.
What, an 816?
Yeah, I genuinely think 816 is more than enough. For me personally, yeah, I'm not going to be able to render videos that quick. But you think, I mean, I'm currently running what, 4-core, 4-thread. I'm literally quadrupling my CPU power.
See, I'm
assuming we're dealing with, hyper-threaded workloads.
I'm 612 at the minute, but it's not enough.
Oh yeah, you're already on 612, aren't you? So you need to ideally, well, I suppose no, an 816 would still be an upgrade for you, but realistically, going then 1224 is more of an impact, which is what ideally you need.
Yeah, plus obviously like rendering stuff out and other things, and yeah, like with work and VMs and blah blah blah. So like, yeah, I'd rather just have more than I need than to need more than I have.
Which totally makes sense.
Literally set to follow you, by the way. Like, I don't know where Phil is.
I'm just at the Alchemist Guild at the minute.
Alright, son. What is it you're actually doing, Sean? Other than
I'm just
lost?
doing quests to try and get my level up more than anything. So Phil, what's your views then on the new? So with Ryzen 4000 series, it looks like we're getting a couple of 100 megahertz boost. We are gonna get a slight IPC increase. I'd be extremely concerned if we didn't, to be entirely honest. So what's your view overall on the 4000 series? Is it something, because I think you're on 600k, the same as me, aren't you?
Yes, I am. But yeah, someone is like, obviously I do a lot of modeling and engine work and stuff like that, and everything that AMD have announced, it looks a bit tasty compared to what Intel's offering.
And at a better price.
Yeah, at a better price point. So I think, to be honest, depending on what Intel release, if anything, I think my next build will be AMD for sure. I want a Threadripper. That's what I want, but that's money. That is.
So yeah, it's not even the cost of the CPUs. Like with Threadripper, more than anything, it's the cost of the motherboards. They're so expensive. Like, really expensive. Also, I cannot find a single goddamn quest I need to do.
I mean, if money was no object, I would get a Threadripper tomorrow.
Although
I wouldn't purely on the basis that we know there's new stuff coming.
Yeah, there'll be Threadripper, next gen Threadripper soon.
Yeah, which means this gen's Threadrippers prices go down, the bonds.
Or they just stop making them and then sell the new ones at the same price.
Or that.
I need to go to La Norcia.
Well, yeah, no, it's interesting times. I want to build a new rig. I'll do a video. I know we're not like a tech channel per se, but I'll still put a video up because it's gaming related, right? Gaming PC. So I'll still stick a video up on it because it's nice. I have the Lian Li OX11 XL, I think, because again, you know, names, right? It's the giant, mostly glass see-through thing. Just waiting for the EK water block distro plate to come out from the front, and then I'm gonna just hardline that up. It's gonna look real nice, so that'll be worth doing a video for.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, when I rebuild, I need to rebuild everything. So I'm actually waiting for two things. I'm waiting for the new GPUs as well as CPUs. I'm just going to build a new rig from scratch. And then probably just sell my current rig. Sans the drives, I'll keep the drives. But so yeah, I'm going to be building from scratch. But I'm sticking with the Fractal Design series. So I'm sticking with the Define C? No, Meshify, Meshify, Define S2 or C2 or whatever it's bloody called. Yeah, that one. It's the MIDI tower. It's just the newest version of mine with the Meshify on it. I think they're fantastic cases. I'm not that bothered about a distro plate. So that to me is going to be my next case, I think. I don't think there's any other topics we've got.
No, I think that's pretty much it. But that's not too bad because we've been going for 52 minutes, so let's give or take an hour, which is the hour we said we'd be here for.
True that.
There's no hard feels. Next Sunday, I want to try and get any type of game going on that lets other people join. I don't know what. We'll probably put something out on social media if you follow us on social media. A game that we can all just play together. That'd be nice, especially like if we get some viewers or whatever, get some people in Discord. That could be kind of cool. If anyone actually wants to do that.
Yeah, I can't think of what games we have that people could do that.
I don't know. We should get like an interesting game of Stellaris going on, the universe versus us.
That could work if people own it.
I mean, we'd have to have the game at like max speed, like triple speed, no slowdowns, no pauses. Don't care if something's going wrong. No one gets a pause. We're not necessarily going to start out next to each other either. We could end up like completely spread out.
Yeah, but it could be interesting.
Yeah, it could be.
I don't know. It's food for thought. If you end up watching this video and you think, hey, that sounds like fun, then just put something down in the comments. We check that mostly daily, pretty much every day actually. So just let us know any games that you think will be a blast, because it'll be cool, you know, and it's interactions and they're nice. But during a time where you're not allowed to be more than within 2 meters of other people, like, let's be friendly on the internet instead.
Giant dodos! Wow, that is one fat dodo.
Right, I'm going to finish leveling this dude off, find Phil, progress a bit. That's about it for me. I don't really have anything else that I have as a topic this week, or anything else that I really want to talk about.
No, neither do I.
You got anything on your mind, Phil?
I'm trying to rack my brain, but I can't think of anything.
Hey, ass, how you doing? And yes, mate, you did a little bit, hey?
Is he there?
Yeah, he just popped up saying, damn, I missed today's stream.
Nice to see you, mate. Sorry we were late. It's alright.
Don't worry about it, dude.
Right. You can always rewatch.
Yeah.
They go straight to live anyway, I believe, or however long YouTube takes to get its shit together.
Well, if it's being watched now, then can't you just rewind right to the beginning once it's done streaming and just watch it anyway?
Oh yeah, you can, can't you?
I think so. Although we've missed out on all of your insightful inputs now, dude. Like, you're part of the flavour of the weekly stream now, so you can't turn up like an hour late. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's the usual now, isn't it?
That's it. You're like our regular. If we were a pub, we'd have that one regular customer that we know the face on. Except I don't know his face and I don't know his name, so just call him Ass because I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Ass A2K1. It's just ass, isn't it? Just ass. In a loving way, not like ass in a bad way.
I don't know. Adam really loves ass, so.
Different kind of ass. But yeah, that is pretty much all from me. Like, I would say now, like, you know, well, let's just keep streaming and get people on, it'll be fun, but it's FF14 and there's a max party size of 4 and we're properly nub mode because we've only been playing it for like a day, so maybe not, but we'll try and get something to go for next week.
Nub mode is an understatement, mate. There are probably nubs that do better than us. Let's be real here.
You speak for yourself, bro. You speak for yourself. I'm
doing speaking for myself.
I was going to say I'm doing alright. Except for my hat. I'm mortified. I got this like black and white thing going on and then they gave me a bright yellow hat. I'm going to have to turn it off.
So I ended up with slippers, bright yellow cargo shorts, like an Aladdin style like vest, like chest showing and all that style, a bandana and an eye patch. Like I looked really, really kind of bizarre and somewhat terrifying. Like I looked like the kind of person that if you saw them like walking behind you at any sort of similar pace, you'd be immediately on the phone to the police.
And on that bombshell, just yeah, because that's not at all creepy. Oh dear.
That's what my dude looked like.
Right, there we go. I'm waving. It's a shame you're not with me. If you all were like near the centre, you could have come and waved. That would have been cheesy and kind of crap, but hey. Okay, yeah, ask mate, rewind it, have it a watch. Anyone else who then watches this afterwards, like I said, comments if you could think of some games or whatever. It'll be fun, honestly. Especially if you stream yourselves or whatever you're doing, then like, you know, you could be us versus you. It'd be kind of fun. So let's just think about it. Let's get something like that going. Other than that, that's it. That's all for me. So I will catch you all next week.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
That was way too long and creepy.
Later longer what?
And creepy.
That was the whole point.